When you open your eyes in the morning, the world floods in. Light, sound, memory, and thought combine into a seamless stream of experience. This inner world, the sense of being alive, is consciousness. For centuries, poets and philosophers wondered what makes us aware. Today, neuroscientists, psychologists, and physicists search for answers. How does the brain, made of billions of cells, produce the mind? What is the link between electrical signals and subjective experience? This is one of the greatest mysteries of science. Understanding consciousness is not only about knowledge, it is about unlocking what makes us human. This is the story of how the brain creates the mind. Consciousness is often defined as the state of being aware of yourself and your surroundings. It is the feeling of pain, the joy of music, the recognition of a face, or the memory of a past event. Scientists distinguish different levels. There is wakefulness, the basic state of alertness. There is self-awareness, the recognition that you exist as an individual. There is also higher-order thought, the ability to reflect on your own mind. But measuring consciousness is difficult. Unlike blood pressure or temperature, there is no simple instrument to detect awareness. Scientists rely on brain scans, behavioral responses, and theoretical models. Defining consciousness is the first step in solving its mystery. The human brain contains about 86 billion neurons. Each neuron communicates with thousands of others through synapses, forming a vast network. These cells send electrical signals called action potentials. When combined, they produce patterns of activity across brain regions. Different areas contribute to different aspects of mind. The occipital lobe processes vision. The temporal lobe supports memory. The prefrontal cortex manages planning and decision-making. Yet no single region holds consciousness. Instead, awareness emerges from the integration of information across the network. The brain is like an orchestra. Each section plays its part, but consciousness arises from their harmony. Scientists propose several theories to explain how the brain generates awareness. One is the global workspace theory. It suggests that consciousness arises when information is broadcast across the brain, making it available to multiple systems like memory, attention, and language. Another is integrated information theory. It argues that consciousness depends on the degree of interconnectedness in the brain. The richer the network, the greater the experience. There is also the higher-order thought theory, which suggests that consciousness emerges when the brain not only processes information, but also forms representations about those processes. No theory yet explains everything, but each offers valuable insight into how neural activity becomes subjective experience. To explore consciousness, researchers use advanced tools. Functional magnetic resonance imaging, or fMRI, tracks blood flow to reveal active regions of the brain. Electroencephalography, or EEG, measures electrical waves from groups of neurons. These methods show how states like sleep, anesthesia, or meditation change brain activity. Studies of patients with brain injuries also provide clues. Some patients in comas show hidden awareness detected only through brain scans. Others reveal how specific regions, like the claustrum or thalamus, may play central roles in consciousness. By combining technology, medicine, and psychology, science is slowly mapping the hidden dimensions of the mind. Is consciousness unique to humans? Research suggests that many animals share aspects of awareness. Dolphins recognize themselves in mirrors. Elephants show grief. Birds demonstrate planning and problem-solving. Even octopuses, with entirely different nervous systems, display curiosity and play. These findings suggest that consciousness may not be limited to mammals. The question also extends to machines. Artificial intelligence now recognizes speech, plays complex games, and generates human-like language. But does this mean AI is conscious? Most scientists argue no. Current systems process data without subjective experience. Exploring consciousness in animals and machines forces us to ask what truly defines awareness. Consciousness is not fixed. It shifts through sleep, dreams, meditation, and altered states. During sleep, The brain cycles between deep rest and rapid eye movement, or REM sleep, when vivid dreams occur. Dreams reveal how the brain constructs experiences without external input. Meditation can change neural patterns, increasing focus and emotional balance. Psychedelic substances, studied carefully in research, alter perception and sense of self by disrupting normal brain networks. These altered states reveal that consciousness is flexible. It is not one static condition, but a spectrum of possibilities. One of the deepest questions is how consciousness creates the sense of self. The brain integrates memory, perception, and emotion into a continuous story. This story feels like you. But neuroscience shows that the self is constructed, not fixed. In conditions like split brain syndrome, when the two hemispheres are disconnected, separate streams of awareness can emerge. This challenges the idea of a single unified self. Understanding the self has implications beyond philosophy. It affects mental health, identity, and how we view free will. If the self is a construction, what does it mean to have control over our actions? The study of consciousness is entering a new era. Large-scale brain projects in the United States, Europe, and Asia are mapping neural circuits in unprecedented detail. Advances in brain-computer interfaces may one day allow us to share or even transfer experiences. Some researchers explore the link between physics and consciousness, asking whether awareness arises purely from biology or whether it connects to deeper laws of the universe. These ideas remain speculative, but highlight the scope of the mystery. The future of consciousness research will combine neuroscience, psychology, artificial intelligence, and philosophy. It may lead not only to medical breakthroughs, but also to new understandings of human existence. Consciousness is the window through which we experience reality. It is the mystery that makes all other mysteries possible. The science of consciousness shows us how the brain's billions of cells weave the fabric of the mind. It reveals that awareness is not magic, but a natural product of biology and complexity. Yet the mystery is far from solved. Consciousness remains the most profound frontier of science. Studying it brings us closer to understanding not only the brain, but ourselves. This is the science of consciousness. This is the hidden universe revealed. The question of consciousness is not new. Ancient civilizations pondered the same mystery long before neuroscience existed. In India, early philosophers of the Vedas and Upanishads described Atman, the inner self, as the essence of awareness. In ancient Greece, Plato compared the soul to a charioteer guiding reason and emotion. In China, Taoist thinkers viewed consciousness as harmony between mind and nature. Throughout history, humanity has asked the same question in different ways. What is the spark inside us that knows it exists? For centuries, religion and philosophy claimed the answer lay beyond the physical. Today, science seeks to explain it within the physical, inside the electrical storms of the brain. Understanding how ancient wisdom intersects with modern neuroscience gives depth to our search. It reminds us that consciousness is not only a scientific question, but a human one. Inside this neural orchestra, rhythm is everything. Neurons do not fire at random. They produce oscillations, electrical waves that move in harmony across regions. There are fast gamma waves when we focus, slower alpha waves when we relax, and deep delta waves during sleep. These rhythms allow different brain regions to synchronize, sharing information like musicians following the same beat. Researchers discovered that when consciousness fades, such as under anesthesia or in deep sleep, this harmony breaks apart. When awareness returns, synchrony reappears. Consciousness, then, may not depend on one place in the brain, but on the music. It plays a precise coordination of billions of signals woven together in time. When you see a red apple, hear a sound, and remember its taste, each sense is processed in a different part of the brain, yet you experience them as one unified moment. This is known as the binding problem. How does the brain combine millions of separate inputs into a single conscious scene? Some scientists believe synchronized neural firing acts like a glue that binds experiences together. Others suggest that consciousness arises from a constant feedback loop the brain predicting and confirming information in real time. This mystery lies at the heart of awareness. How many separate pieces become one continuous now? Doctors often face a haunting question. Is an unresponsive patient truly unconscious? New research is developing scales to measure consciousness objectively. One approach, called the Perturbational Complexity Index, involves sending magnetic pulses into the brain and measuring the complexity of the brain's response. A rich, unpredictable response suggests awareness. A flat, simple response suggests unconsciousness. Such tools are transforming medicine. They help identify patients in comas, who may still experience awareness and could even communicate using thought patterns alone. For the first time, science is beginning to detect the invisible presence of consciousness, where none was thought to exist. Consciousness may not be a switch that is either on or off. It might be a spectrum. A tree reacts to light and damage, sending signals through chemical pathways. A jellyfish, with no brain, coordinates movement through nerve nets. Even simple organisms like slime molds solve mazes and adapt to challenges. Some scientists argue this reflects a primitive form of awareness, not thought, but responsiveness to the environment. The idea that awareness exists in varying degrees across nature blurs the line between the living and the conscious. It suggests that consciousness might be a natural property of complexity, emerging wherever information is deeply integrated. Every night, the mind becomes its own universe. During dreams, the brain's visual and emotional centers activate while rational areas quiet down. This creates vivid, often illogical experiences that feel completely real. Lucid dreaming occurs when a person becomes aware within a dream and can control its events. Studies using EEG have captured unique brainwave patterns marking this state between sleep and wakefulness. Dream research suggests that consciousness does not vanish during sleep, it transforms. Dreams may serve to process emotions, strengthen memory, and rehearse survival skills. In studying dreams, scientists glimpse the mechanics of imagination itself. One of the most controversial findings in neuroscience came from experiments by Benjamin Libet in the 1980s. Libet discovered that brain activity preparing for movement occurs about half a second before a person becomes consciously aware of their decision to move. This raised a shocking possibility. Perhaps the brain decides before you do. Modern studies confirm this timing gap, but also suggest consciousness plays a role in monitoring and vetoing actions, a kind of final editor of the brain-AS impulses. Whether free will is an illusion or a form of conscious guidance remains debated. Either way, it forces us to rethink what it means to choose. Some physicists propose that consciousness and quantum mechanics might be connected. Theories like orchestrated objective reduction, developed by Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff, suggest that quantum processes inside neurons could influence awareness. While still controversial, these ideas raise profound questions. Could consciousness be woven into the fundamental structure of reality? Could the observer, the conscious mind, be essential to the universe itself? Most scientists remain cautious. Yet the intersection between physics and mind continues to inspire experiments testing whether quantum effects occur in the brain. Whether or not this link exists, it reveals that the mystery of consciousness reaches beyond biology into the deepest laws of nature. What if consciousness is not limited to the human brain at all? New technologies such as brain-computer interfaces allow people to control machines directly with thought. Researchers are mapping connectome's complete maps of every neural connection with the dream of replicating them digitally. Some futurists imagine mind uploading, transferring mental patterns into computers. Others explore synthetic consciousness, building artificial systems that mimic self-awareness. While still distant, these pursuits reveal how the boundary between mind and machine is blurring. Understanding consciousness may one day allow us not only to study it, but to expand it beyond biology, beyond humanity, into new forms of awareness we can barely imagine. If you enjoyed this journey, subscribe for more cinematic explorations into science, discovery, and the human mind.